Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of Jay Taylor's Gold, Energy, and Tech Stocks, also the host of the show Turning Hard Times into Good Times that airs every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Pacific Time at the Voice of America Business Channel. I'm here in Vancouver at the Metals Investor Forum. It is November 10th, 2018, and I'm really pleased to be with Ryan King. He is the Vice President of Calibre Mining. Welcome, Ryan. Good to have you with me.
Nice to be here.
Now, you have a lot of really great-looking projects, and it's been really amazing to me that your stock has been so low. Mm-hmm. You've been sort of a prospect generator, project generator, I'd say, in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
But you have some really fantastic joint venture partners, well-known in the mining industry. Talk to us about Nicaragua, what you have going there. You also have one of your own, 100% owned Primavera project. It's a really promising copper porphyry system, copper gold, I guess, porphyry system. But what are your plans there now with all these joint ventures? You got a lot of news coming out that investors can look forward to, but what are your thoughts and what are your plans in Nicaragua now and beyond?
Yeah, so you're right, Jay, and thank you for having me. We acquired this land package from Yamana in 2009. And, the mineral exploration sector and the gold price, it's up and down. And so we decided the best way to add value for us is to do some early stage exploration on these projects and have enough, I'll call it sex appeal on the projects to entice a mid-tier or a major to look at these projects.
Which you've done.
IAMGOLD was not in the country prior to us. Centerra was not in the country prior to us. And so what we've been able to do is identify a very prolific, prolific land package, identify some fantastic targets, and bring in some really good partners that weren't in the country before. And really, it's been the work of our technical team. Our technical team has done a fantastic job of doing this identification and bringing in these partners, and they're spending money to earn into up to 70%. So right now, IAMGOLD is drilling a couple of our targets. These are targets that are outside of our resource base. So for any new investors coming into the story, that's very exciting. So if we hit something, and we've been very successful. I think we did the calculation the other day, and with us and our partners, our discovery per ounce cost has only been about $10.
Oh, yeah.
And yet in the market today, we're trading at $5 an ounce in the ground.
Yeah.
Right, and so we've been able to acquire this land package. We've been able to bring in these partners, and we've been able to attract some very, very good shareholders. B2 Gold that have 2 mines in the country. Lucas Lundin and management own a lot of the stock. So we believe in the opportunity there. You talked about our 100% owned project.
Right.
So we had these 2 partners come in. We felt, one way to unlock value is a lot of time funds like you to own something 100%. Don't give up the project, right?
Sure.
And as I mentioned before, it's been up and down in the sector, so it's been very difficult to raise capital. But it's not been as difficult to have partners spend money and advance them, so shareholders get news flow. Now with Primavera, we discovered this in 2012. Primavera turned out to be a very exciting discovery, and this speaks to the underexplored nature of the country. We're in a region up in the northeast part of Nicaragua that has had over 8 million ounces of gold produced. There's mines have been there for many, many decades. 300 million pounds of copper has been produced. Just north of us, there's a 100,000 ounce a year gold producer by a publicly traded Colombian company. So it's prolific. We see, anytime you want to find gold, one place to look is around old gold mines or near gold mines.
Sure.
And so this 100% owned project is very interesting to us. It was discovered in 2012. The first couple of drill holes were unbelievable. This is in the back of a farmer's field, just off of a major road where there's hydropower all nearby. And we drilled 280 meters of 0.8 gold and 0.3 copper.
Wow.
I mean, this is very consistent, beautiful mineralization, very classic copper gold porphyry system. And our partner at the time was B2 Gold. They built a camp, they were spending money, they decided to bring drill rigs in. And one of the first things they did was just do some step outs and we hit a gain. The equity in Calibre at the time was trading like water. I mean, we were trading anywhere from 5 to 10 million shares a day. It's just very exciting to find a porphyry system along the ring of fire. And anytime somebody finds something like that, especially right at surface, it can have a dramatic impact on the share price, and it did. Now, we continue to do the drilling with B2. They did big step outs, 250 meters, 500 meters, and lo and behold, the mineralization disappeared. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, geologically, a big fault had come through and displaced a big portion of the mineralization. We don't know if it's gone up or down. It could have eroded away or a long strike. So that's something that we've been evaluating and looking at over the last couple of years. We've done some follow-up drilling in and around Primavera and on some of the other targets. But we haven't found the extension of it yet. Mm-hmm. And so given the way the market is today and how we want to preserve our cash and our share structure, we felt it best at this point in time to find another partner. And we're looking, if the market changes and all of a sudden we're starting to see more interest in junior gold equities or gold equities, that could be something of interest for us.
Okay. Well, you certainly maybe talk just a minute or two about a couple of the other joint venture partners in those projects that they have. IAMGOLD, for example.
Sure.
They're making a lot of progress, I believe, on that one.
Yeah, we're having some really good success with IAMGOLD. IAMGOLD came in, I believe, in 2014. We signed a deal where they're going to spend $4.5 million to earn in to 51%, and then another $4.5 million to earn into 70%. It was a great deal for us at the time, and we had done some early stage work to identify some nice low sulfidation epithermal veins on surface. IAMGOLD came in within months, did their due diligence in the country, did their due diligence on the project, started drilling right away, and discovered, these are systems that range between 5 and 10 and 15 meters, but good grade, 3 to 10 gram material. Mm-hmm. So we've got a resource now that's 800,000 ounces. The 800,000 ounces is gold equivalent at almost 6 grams. So you start with a small, shallow open pit, and it would transition into an underground system following the vein.
Right.
But we've got 20 kilometers of strike of test, parallel veins, subparallel veins, and right now IAMGOLD is drilling. They got 2 drills turning right now, and that's where a great amount of news flow is going to come from. If we have any success, I think it's going to have a real positive impact.
So they earn 70%. Have they earned that yet, or they have to spend?
They've earned 51%. And they're working towards the 70%. So we're not spending any money. IAMGOLD is also paying us a management fee, and they're paying us $150,000 a year to keep that going.
So you get carried, of course, up until, after they earn it, then you'll have to come in with 30%.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So we believe that very likely by the end of next year or mid the following year, they'll have earned into their 70%. Assuming all the same and all is equal now, we believe they'll continue their exploration in 2019.
Yeah, and Centerra, I'm not sure that we have time to talk about it. Maybe just briefly, 30 seconds or a minute.
Really briefly, they again spend $9 million. They earn into 70%. They're drilling now. They're drilling for bigger targets, big porphyry systems on the Sayuna project. And in and around on the Sayuna project, we've identified and put out a NI 43-101 of 750,000 ounces. Mm-hmm. So they're very excited about that. They're spending money and earning in. So that's where a lot of news flow will continue to come from as well.
All right. I have to ask you about the political issues in Nicaragua. Clearly, that's why I think your stock has been so suppressed. Mm-hmm. On the one hand, the companies that are producing there are producing profitably, or they're producing without interruption, as I understand it. Yet it seems to have hurt your stock price a lot. I can't imagine any other reason why you would be so depressed given all that you have going there.
Yeah.
How are you addressing that risk issue?
Well, you're right, and absolutely. It's been unfortunate what's happened in Nicaragua. There's been protests, there have been deaths, a lot of social unrest. We've noticed in the last couple of weeks and months that it's slowed down a bit. We don't see nearly as much protests. But it's been a really unfortunate situation. Now, if we step back and we look at where Nicaragua has come from over the past 2, 3, 4 decades, I believe, and of course I'm not a local that lives in the country, but we work there, I believe Ortega has done a great job for that country. Tourism is up multiple-fold. Infrastructure in the country, roads and power has increased. You can drive now all the way from Managua, the capital, up to our project, which you couldn't do before. So I think it's, how are we addressing it? We're not affected at this point in time. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate. We do different work socially within the country to help different villages that we work in. And I think that this will resolve itself. I mean, this isn't a situation where we have, for us specifically, NGOs against the project. This is a mining village where we are, and they're very supportive of mining.
Of course, yeah.
What's happening now is, I believe, if I understand this correctly, Daniel Ortega took away a subsidy from the people. And when the protest started, he immediately gave it back. And yet the protests were already starting, the fighting had started, and it's just a very sad situation. I believe because he recognizes that foreign investment is so important to the country, he will do anything he can. I believe he'll do anything he can to benefit the people, but also make sure that country continues as a good, positive, building GDP and economic engine. They've looked at, and I believe a Chinese group has done engineering on a new canal. And one of our partners just had a Chinese group invest $10 million into the Rosita project.
All right. So it's good to know that Nicaragua's been very pro-mining. They realize that it's such a big contributor to the wealth of the nation. So,
but you're absolutely right. It has a very heavy impact on our share price. I believe. I do believe it'll come and go. That could present an opportunity for potential new investors. And we have restructured the company. We've done a 10-for-1 rollback. We did a $5 million raise. But the thing is, the company now is really looking at what we've had success with in the past, and that is buying production. So our strategic plan is still operate in Nicaragua, have our joint venture partners continue with that. We manage that project. But at the same time, our group is looking for new opportunities outside of the country or potentially inside the country if they present themselves. We just think now is the time and the good value to buy producing opportunities.
Well, it's certainly hard to find a lower point to buy your stock, that's for sure. So with all that's going on, Ryan, I thank you very much for telling your story because I think it's a good one.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jay.
Great.